The town of Ashwood was shrouded in an eternal mist, its residents trapped in a never-ending cycle of confusion and fear. Every morning, without fail, the townsfolk would awaken to find themselves with no memory of the previous day, their minds as blank as the fog that clung to the streets. The sound of distant chimes echoed through the air, a haunting reminder that time was passing, yet nothing remained to be remembered. A faint chill ran down the spine of Emily Wilson as she stepped out of her small cottage, the cold air biting at her skin like 1,000 razor-sharp teeth. The streets were empty, the only signs of life the flickering candles that lined the sidewalks, casting eerie shadows on the ground. A lone figure wandered into view, its face a blur of confusion and desperation. As Emily watched, the figure stumbled and fell, its body writhing on the ground like a puppet with severed strings. The sound of whispering voices carried on the wind, a maddening cacophony that sent shivers down Emily's spine. She knew she wasn't alone, that others were out there, struggling to make sense of their own lost mornings. Emily made her way through the deserted streets, her heart pounding in her chest like a drumbeat of fear. The chimes grew louder, a cacophony that seemed to pierce her eardrums and leave her gasping for air. Everywhere she looked, people were searching for answers, their faces etched with worry and confusion. Some tried to recall the night before, hoping to piece together the fragments of their lost memories. Others walked aimlessly, as if trying to escape the crushing weight of their own ignorance. Emily wandered the streets, desperate to find a clue, a hint of what was happening to them. The streets grew darker, the candles burning low as the night deepened. Shadows crept across the ground, taking on sinister forms that seemed to move of their own accord. Emily felt a presence behind her, a chill that ran down her spine as she turned to face the darkness. She saw nothing, yet the sensation lingered, a growing sense of dread that made her skin crawl. The wind picked up, carrying the scent of decay and rot, and Emily knew she was not alone. Something was watching her, waiting for her to make a move. As she walked, the houses seemed to close in around her, their windows like empty eyes staring back. The chimes reached a fever pitch, a screaming chaos that threatened to consume her. Emily stumbled, her foot catching on a loose paving stone. She fell, her hands scrabbling for purchase as she struggled to get to her feet. A figure loomed over her, its face twisted in a snarl of rage. Emily screamed, but her voice was lost in a cacophony of chimes and whispering voices. The figure reached out, its hand closing around her wrist like a vice. Emily felt a surge of adrenaline as she struggled to break free, but the figure held fast. She was dragged to her feet, her mind reeling with terror as she was pulled deeper into the heart of the town. The streets seemed to shift and twist, leading her through a maze of dead ends and abandoned buildings. Emily's heart was racing, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she stumbled through the darkness. And then, suddenly, she was free. The figure released her, its grip slipping like a broken thread. Emily stumbled backward, her eyes fixed on the figure's face. But as she looked, she saw something that made her blood run cold, her own face, staring back at her from the figure's twisted grin. The figure spoke, its voice her own, its words a twisted echo of memories that had never been her own. And as Emily listened, she realized the horrific truth: she was not who she thought she was. She was not a victim, but the architect of Ashwood's lost mornings, trapped in a never-ending cycle of her own making.